Hey everyone, welcome back. We promised you that we would talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, and it's kind of funny because Tim, you were saying how it kind of sucks that we're not going to do it live, but in the end, it's actually a good thing we didn't do it live.
Interesting news. So we have a lot to cover. We'll first talk about what was announced at the Direct, and then we'll go into recent news, etc. So obviously the Switch 2 Direct happened finally. It was revealed. The Switch 2 release date, price, hardware, features, and accessories. So we'll talk about that. The Nintendo Switch will have two releases on June 5th, which is sooner than we thought, only a couple months, actually 2 months from today, April 5th.
Yeah.
2 months, June 5th. Perfect. It will cost, again, we'll have news, so take this with a grain of salt,
exactly.
Guys. So at the announcement, it will cost $449.99 USD just for the Nintendo Switch. There will be a Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle that will cost $499.99 USD, which, guys, is an extremely good bundle, as we'll go down below.
Yeah. So Tim, before you continue, just before you continue, I want for anyone that's listening from Canada, so you can see how poor the Canadian dollar is doing, because there's like a 40% difference now. And that means that just the base bundle is $629.99 Canadian, and with Mario Kart is $699.
Ouch. Well, ouch. Maybe. We'll see when we cover the news. You know, the U.S. might be.
Yeah, exactly. U.S. might be close.
So another thing, pre-order choose, right? Those are going to start in a few days, April 9th. We'll open retails in North America on April 9th to start your pre-orders. As a matter of fact, you go to Nintendo's website and you choose which one you want. You put on a list. So they're kind of combat scalpers. So that's kind of cool. And they'll email you, etc., when it's available for you to pay. You have up to 72 hours to pay for your said system, either the standalone or the bundle. I'm assuming the bundle is going to be the way to go. All right, so as you go, etc., invitations will go out on May 8th, and it will prioritize on first come, first served basis. So again, it's going to be difficult to get this system. There's rumors, Nintendo didn't talk about it, that they're way ahead of the curve. And
we'll know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we'll know. You will know really, really quickly. I want to know, guys, if you go to Nintendo's website, I'm having such a weird glitch where basically I sign in, it recognizes me as my handle, but the top right, you get your little mushrooms that are loading, and it always loads to a login screen. But it thinks I am logged in. So I've been having I was able to do that registration whole thing. I'm just concerned that when it comes time to oh, here, Jarrod, it's time, I won't be able to, because I can't actually check out. I put a game, just whatever, and I can't check out because it's oh, you got to sign in. And I'm but I am signed in. And I've tried it on multiple machines, multiple
browsers.
Browsers, OSs, weird. The whole thing. Yeah, it's so.
It could be, guys, that their site's getting hammered. Jarrod told me to register that bundle thing. I did. I went pretty seamless. So hopefully I get a Switch. I want the Switch 2 at launch. I'd never got the Switch on launch. I waited for because it's the OLED version of the Switch. We'll be out within a year and a half.
Oh,
I always tend to wait, but not this time. The Mario Kart World looks fantastic. Anyways, let's
let's go on. I do want to say the one other little just caveat, really, guys. We're gonna talk about this later, but it's just a note that if you're only listening for whatever reason, if we're the first people that you listen to for this news, pre-orders and stuff like that in the US, they've been delayed. So we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about
it. But, okay, get into the announcements, man, because there's a bunch of stuff.
Besides the most recent affairs, let's talk about what happened on the Direct itself. Obviously, we did the first part of it. Switch 2 has, 4K, HDR, Joy-Con with mouse controls, which we kind of knew was going to have. Yeah, we knew that. And 256 gigabytes of storage, which is Guys, that's like the size of Grand Theft Auto 6. So
Yeah, exactly.
for Nintendo games, it'll probably be okay. But Call of Duty's almost like 200 gigs. Actually, is over 200 gigs.
Yeah.
So that's not great. But you don't worry. Nintendo allows freedom of expansion via the. Yeah. We'll talk about the expansion slots that it uses. But anyways, not a big deal. But at least it's okay amount. So it will have 4K. It has a 7.9-inch LCD screen that displays games at 2080p. However, the better resolution when you dock it with the new dock, it will. Now this is what they say: output video up to 4K resolution and play games at up to 120 FPS.
Yeah. There's a giant catch here. So
exactly.
Docked, it will not be able to do 4K HDR 60 FPS. It's not even going to be able to do that. Almost all of the bells and whistles are when it's in portable mode. So it's important for everybody to know that, because in portable mode it's only a 1080p screen. So it's like, Tim, it's like your computer. Like, it's easier to get that resolution with a like, more advanced like frame rate and stuff like that. I do want to say that the dock has a fan now, which is going to be interesting to see.
Yes, very
because if that's not engineered properly, the 4K is going to
have issues.
Oh yeah, there's going to be lots of issues, but we'll see.
I am really excited. We'll talk about the games in a minute, guys. But anyways, let's just focus and we'll talk.
Yeah, focus on the hardware.
So 256 storage.
Yeah,
exactly. But now your SD cards, your little micro SD cards that you have on the Nintendo Switch are not compatible. Yeah. You must use the micro SD Express cards.
Yeah.
So that is something. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, and right now you can get. I think a terabyte is like 150, something like that.
Well, that's kind of not cheap.
It's not cheap. No, but you can get
more than what you need.
You can get a 512, right? Like you can get a 512 for like $50 type of thing.
Correct. So yeah, storage won't be an issue, guys. And plus, I don't know if it'll go down. It'll be part of our news in a little bit. Anyways, but now this is a new meme on the internet. Now the C button's been revealed, and speculations. We know what it is. Game chat is Nintendo's new solution with playing with friends. So we'll discuss it. So the C button is the chat button. Yeah. So you saw in their demo, someone gave a call to someone. They pushed the C to accept. So on that note, from what we saw in the footage, besides the rest of it, which we'll talk about, it looks like Nintendo's first-party games and most likely second-party games like Mario World, the Mario Kart World, will not have open mic lobbies with random people. I can understand why Nintendo's doing that. They've worked really hard to protect their IPs. They don't want toxic elements. They don't want kids being exposed to, slurs, etc. What's great about it, though, is third parties now has the freedom to port easier, because like games like, I don't know if Fortnite has it, but, games like Marvel Rivals, etc. have built-in voice, so Nintendo Switch 2 can support that natively, which is great. But I do think Nintendo's system games will never have a true open mic, free to talk type thing, which is fine as long as we have the options. That's all I care about. What we've been telling. So in the presentation, it showed a couple things. I joked with Jarrod because I thought, Nintendo tends to do bare minimum, bare everything. Okay, voice chat, that's it. They do have camera support. Any USB-C camera is compatible. Of course, Nintendo has their own that you could buy probably at a premium price. So that's good freedom. Nintendo's been very good about that. So, Jarrod, we'll talk about it. So the person's playing, he gets the call, and he down at the bottom of the screen, he sees the person's game. And then he's like, oh, can you help me with this level? And then it comes up, and he views it, et cetera, et cetera. And there's other people. There's 4 people. It looks like there's 4 people, 5 people. I don't know the limit. They didn't really talk about that. A couple things, though. The frame rate, there was frame rate issues in the presentation, Jarrod. You saw that, right? It wasn't,
and I think that actually makes a whole lot of sense. Because of course. If you want to, so guys, the first thing that was really funny, like online right away, people were like,
tell them about the
Nintendo
meme.
Enters the Xbox 360 era. So
which
that
is
was
basically
exactly. it was kind of funny, but whatever. Like, jokes aside, what Tim and I are using right now is basically become the de facto sort of means of communication, right? Doesn't matter if you're on Teams, Google Meets, WhatsApp, Zoom, whatever, that you can play with your background, right? So that's the very first thing that they're incorporating.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah. So there you go, right? Like, I mean, it's the easiest way of explaining it, right? Is exactly like this. And then like Tim was just saying, like, you can show like your different gameplay and stuff like that. And if you're having like your three friends at the, like, below, you have your main screen, then you have the three below. And if we're all showing our screen, it looked like it was running at like 20 frames per second, 15 frames per second. But guys, that makes total sense, because otherwise you're going to use too much processing power for your main screen.
Yes, exactly.
And the truth is, I will never use this.
I was going to just tell you that, Jarrod. Extremely unlikely. We might test it, guys, between Jarrod and I, just to see what it's like for, the channel. But that's something I'll never use.
Yeah. Because
99% of the time we'll be on Discord to do it, because it's just a lot more convenient, and we don't have to tax the Nintendo system processing, because it includes a default auto green screen, which anyone who has green screens knows that eats up, especially if you're a streamer, which mostly people would. You wouldn't use a green screen otherwise. It eats up resources, so you have to count that for your stream. It could make your stream laggy, etc. So that's kind of good. I think they're doing it for a couple of reasons. One, it looks awesome. Two, probably for privacy reasons. They don't want people homes and stuff.
Exactly. But I do think, like, for me it's more distracting. Like, I'm not the type of guy, like, when I'm playing a game or whatever, like I'm focused on like what I'm playing. I find it very distracting to have like
we're not going to use
like
it.
But I will say, I want to see how long the feature lasts.
Oh, thinking of the feature, there's a little bit of note. Game chat will be free until March 2026, almost a year. And then after that, you will need a Nintendo Switch Online membership. So just FYI for that. So it's free at launch, which is cool. But you still have to play online with your friends. You need that.
Yes.
So it's counterintuitive. You're going to need it from day one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I want to, like, guys, like, I want to see... For Nintendo games, I think you're 100% right. Like, I don't think they'll ever allow that to be fully opened. I think it's going to be like the whole friend system and this and that and everything else. I will be curious to see if they impose that on third parties, which they might, guys, because if you remember when Xbox originally launched Xbox Live and they introduced like their camera and stuff, it got X-rated the first hour that it was live, and they started to pull all kinds of stuff. So there is one way of safeguarding it, and that is to put it in the, like, on the user. So basically what I mean is only friends would be able to do that, and then your parents could have the parental controls to say thing. Yeah. Because if they truly open it where you can go to any camera, no way. They're going to shut it down within hours. It'll be closed.
Yeah, because Nintendo still has a reputation of being family friendly. Now, obviously, they can't right now. There is support for like Ghostbuster Spirits Unleashed for voice, etc. already on the Switch. You could have voice. So I don't know if they will, but the voice they probably won't care too much about, but it's the camera I think might be the concern. Yeah. But to let you know, like Marvel Rivals, a lot of these games don't have camera integration, so I don't think
there's
that's
a reason.
Gonna be a factor.
No, but there's a reason why. Like Microsoft and Sony learned that the hard way by all the pervs out there. Where they were, and that's why, like, now, like, none of the other companies really emphasize camera anymore. It's all just chat, because at least that way it's,
chat's verbal abuse, but at least you don't see any kind of unofficial, like, you're right, pervs dangling their junk.
Yeah, exactly.
Or girls splashing their. That happened on the Xbox, by the way. Girls would be, flashing
that's
their,
what I'm,
and dudes would be doing the same thing too. And there's some other stories. We don't want to go into that.
No. But anyways, but it's interesting. So all this to say is just that, like, it's interesting, that Nintendo is doing this. That's all. I was like, well, good for you guys. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I love it. I've given Nintendo such a hard time because as a consumer, they've always been behind the curve. But, you get their systems for their games. But now they got stuff. I'm never going to use the chat, but it's good to have in the camera. And by the way, not only that, we finally saw the Switch 2 logo animation. It's basically virtually identical to the Switches. The things come together and there's a 2. So it's basically the same. Just FYI, which everyone should know by now. So now, Jarrod, we'll move on to accessories, Pro Controller, which is the new one, camera, and more. The Switch 2 will be launched with a bunch of accessories, and it always does, including a Pro Controller for $79.99. That looks a lot like the original Switch controller, as colored toggle switches, which is nice. An audio jack, a C button for game chat, and 2 extra buttons on the back, which is interesting. So it's going to see what they do with these extra features. The camera, the official Switch 2 camera is $49.99. It can be used with game chat and bring not only videos with your friends, but also introduces games like, we're going to talk about this. Super Mario Party Jamboree is getting a Nintendo Switch version, which has new mini games, and it uses the camera, which is interesting. Now, I have the game, and I'm not going to buy the Switch 2 version unless it's maybe a $5 upgrade, but Jarrod,
there's no chance in hell.
It ain't going to happen, dude. It ain't going to happen. So the Joy-Con, the new Joy-Con 2 is $89.99. Dude, really? Is it really that much?
Yes, sir. The price.
I'm lucky.
Nintendo,
I never used
man.
a Joy-Con.
I'll tell you, Nintendo went all in on pricing. I'll tell you that.
Oh, my God. Dude, Joy-Con 2 charging grip is $39.99. Joy-Con 2 strap is $12.99. Joy-Con 2 wire, $20 for 2. For 2. The dock set is $109.99. The Switch 2 carrying case. We don't care about that stuff. It's no. But it's interesting that the prices are up there. And guys, you convert they are.
You convert that to Canadian, man. And
exactly. You always get screwed, dude. I don't know why you just don't import. Maybe it's too expensive.
No, dude, it's the dollar. It has nothing to do with anything. So if I import it from the States, it's the same price. It's the dollar itself is the problem, and it's just that the dollar's been so crappy now that companies have no choice, right? Like they're matching the price with the US version, but it's like it's starting to get like, ouch, man, ouch. Right. Anyway, talk about the games, dude.
We're going to talk about the games, but remember, guys, as you're watching this, all these prices for the United States take with a grain of salt.
Yes.
While there were official the day of, they're no longer going to. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't know
that in the news. Yeah. Anyways, Switch 2 first-party games, Nintendo Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and more. So let's talk about Mario Kart. It is, yes, some of the modes will have 24 players. It is now in a world environment, which they talked about, like the Grand Prix. You're going to go from, let's say they're like one of them they showed was 3 maps, and you go from the first map to the second map to the third map seamlessly. Now, there's a couple things. As a single-player experience where you're doing that, it's great. For online, though, I mean, how long are these matches going to be? Because these maps look huge, right? And it's going to be very interesting. And you have like several modes, and one of the modes you could go off track, off the beaten path. So very, very cool that they're doing some progression with the series. They're doing away with putting your carts together. They're going to have a ton of, let's see how many characters. There's a bunch, up to 24 drivers, as we know. And how many, it'll be released as a launch title, by the way. And here's what's the biggest uproar right now. It is going to be an $80 game. So people aren't exactly happy about it.
No kidding, dude. That means that it will be the first game in Canada to be like $100 or more.
Yeah.
Which, that, guys, like, Tim, you always say, like Grand Theft Auto is going to be 100 US.
Oh, guaranteed.
It's going to be that means it's going to be like 140 Canadian for a game.
And not only that, we don't want to change subject too much, but Grand Theft Auto has a rumor right now that it's costing $2 billion to make. If that's, I don't believe it. Well, I don't know.
I don't know, dude. It's possible.
The latest Call of Duty was like 770 a million, so that's getting close to $1 billion. So if that's the case, it's $2 billion. I guarantee you it will be $100.
Oh, me too.
There's no way they're going to take a loss on, and it's going to be sold like hotcakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, by the way, side note, it looks like Grand Theft Auto's been delayed. So
Yeah.
And I pinged you, Jarrod. What the heck is up this 12 to 18 months after the console release for PC? Anyways, we'll talk more about that probably next podcast.
So I think what we do, just because there's like a lot of stuff here. So what I think we do, I like what you've done. Like, let's start. We'll talk about the Nintendo stuff, like the new games. Those 2 new games. I think there was the wheelchair one. I'm not sure. I think.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. Yes.
But I think for the ports of games, I think the easiest thing is we just list them off. Like, don't go into detail. Just list them off.
No,
so
we're not gonna, because
we'll be here all day.
Exactly. We're going to talk about Nintendo's new stuff because we'll talk about the partnership list in a second, guys. 24 players. We saw cars, of course, motorcycles, boats, snowmobiles, planes, and we also saw players grinding on rails, riding on walls, and more. So it looks like Nintendo's starting to pick up their game with this series. You have to also remember, 8 is an old game, guys. So what, 11 plus years old? It was a port. It's not brand new. It was just enhanced for Switch. So we're getting a proper, true next-gen Mario Kart. So the brand new modes are Knockout Tour, Free Roam, which is like we were talking about, where you can go off the beaten path where you want to go. Knockout Tour is an elimination battle royale style mode where you have to be the last driver racing across the world of those Mario Kart, which is amazing, right? A battle royale and a Mario. So it looks like they're really doing some interesting stuff, guys. I'm really looking forward to this. Free roam allows players to explore the levels at their own pace, and $79.99 is going to be the price. So that's why that bundle is so attractive. So you save like $30. There will also be a Mario Kart World Direct that takes place on April 17th at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very torn because Mario Kart. Well, yeah, hear me out. Because Mario Kart is a launch title, I don't know if I want to watch that direct.
Oh, you don't want to be spoiled?
Well, yeah, because it's normally you have a couple of games, right, that you're interested in and whatever. But so far, it looks like this is the only game that I'd be like really interested in right now. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to spoil this. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be kind of cool to like just go in and be like, oh, damn, man. Like, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, except I'm not looking forward to having to sell a kidney.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward. And yes, guys, I will buy Mario Kart. Well, I'm going to get the bundles, so, but
we'll
even
see.
If I
we'll see.
Oh, Jarrod never believes me. I'm not going to get 8 at some point. A couple months. Oh, hopefully, who knows if I could get a system at launch, but I hope so. Next up, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Jesus.
Bonanza.
But anyways, stutter time.
I love it, Bonanza. What the hell is
smashing its way on Switch 2 this July 17th to be exact. This game looks really, really good. You could actually dig down into the ground with Donkey Kong's powers, and it looks phenomenal. I must admit, Nintendo's always the furthest on Donkey Kong. So yeah, you could definitely see the difference already from first gen consoles. It's like better than anything Switch 2 can do right now. I mean, Switch 1. So really looking forward to that. It's your platformer, it has the humor, it has even 2D sections. So it's basically a platforming game, but it looks premium. What do you think, Jarrod?
Yeah, man. I am very curious to hear about who's developing this, because this looks like Super Mario Odyssey. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this has got to be the same team. Like, it has to be the same
100%
same team. But no, it looks fantastic. I'm really, really, like, if I had my choice, that would be my launch title, with Kart as my weekend game type of. Just me.
Well, Kart's going to probably have some single player stuff, but it's obviously a multiplayer game.
I
know you're not too much into that.
It's not even that. It's really more just like karting, racing in general is not the type of thing that I'm going to do for hours on end.
Oh, for hours, yes. No, it's just for us for some shenanigans. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to see if we can get Jarrod and I need to actually get a new Elgato, because I need to get I have the HD60S, which is perfect for the Switch. I need to get it for the X that supports 4K.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I have the HD60X.
XO, that's the one I need to get.
Yeah.
So I'll be upgrading that. So I
Yeah,
can
what's gonna
capture
suck,
footage.
dude, is I gotta get another dock, and that sucks with the pricing that you just like.
Oh, you mean the dock doesn't come with a system like it did the Switch 2?
It does,
mean,
but
Switch...
I need two. one for the TV, one for the recording.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And
that kind of sucks for you.
sucks.
I'm lucky because I have it hooked up to a computer monitor here at my computer desk, so I don't need to. So
Yeah,
I've never had
you.
the Switch. I've never had the Switch up on. I just use my nice computer monitor. Anyways, Kirby fans will be extremely happy, and I'm kind of surprised that Nintendo, one of the Kirby games with the Mario Kart Racer, they actually announced Kirby Air Riders, which is another racing game. So kind of weird. And
but say the big news. That's not the big news. Who's directing it?
Oh yes, can you say his name? Because
It's Sakurai. Sakurai is
Sakurai.
So guys, the guy who's been stuck with Smash Brothers forever.
He finally gets freedom.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he did the original Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride.
That's awesome.
And that game actually caused him to like leave the company and stuff. Like, it was really interesting. So it's fascinating that he's coming back for this one. But guys, we didn't see anything.
No gameplay. All it showed is the intro and a little bit of land, and that's it. And it comes later in 2025. No release date.
There's no chance this game gets released this year. There's zero chance.
Mario.
Yeah, that would be the dumbest. Like, that makes no sense.
Which is okay, right? I'm going to be focusing more on Mario Kart anyways, but good for Kirby fans. That's not the only Kirby game. We'll talk in a second here. Now, here we go. We know that we talked earlier about the Jamboree Switch 2 edition. Well, guess what? Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of Wild,
the Kingdom,
are getting Switch 2 editions at launch. Which is, hey, by the way, I told you that rumor. They said Zelda's would be at launch. They didn't lie, did they? It's just not new Zelda game. And they promise better resolutions, better everything, better frames, etc., etc. It says, not only here, smoother frame rates, faster load times, and better graphics, and they showed a considerable difference in loading time. So
I think what's important to note here, guys, is that there will be two different versions of these types of releases. So you're going to get updates for free that will basically work like you would expect to see on Xbox and PlayStation, where the games perform a little bit better. Then there are these enhanced editions, and that they're gonna charge money, like the Zeldas and stuff like that, because it's not just graphical changes. There's actually gameplay components that are being added. They have this new thing with the phone that you can use to, like, I forget what it was, but I forget what it's called. It's not artifacts, but anyway, doesn't matter, whatever.
And another thing too to note, if you own the Switch versions, your save files can be copied over into the new version, and you will be allowed to have an additional two manual saves. So that's kind of good if you want a separate new adventure and keep your old data, which I don't understand why Nintendo limits you, but anyways, that's besides the point. So we're getting that. Guys, look forward to it. Guaranteed, though. Now, Jarrod, my question is: you're a big, huge Zelda fan. Are you going to get the new additions to compare?
Not at launch. There's no. Okay. I mean, I destroyed those games, man. I must have put in like 200 or 300 hours in each.
Oh, so you're not interested?
Like, I've already.
Well, you can use your file though.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No, exactly. But it's not like that. That's kind of why, guys. Like, when Tim goes through the list of like, and here's the third-party games coming in, like 90% of them, I'm just like, whoop-de-doo.
Like, exactly. We'll talk about that because nothing really was revealed new. There are a lot of ports, which, hey, ports are great. I was Jarrod and I were kind of disappointed overall that there was only really a few new titles. The rest were all ports, but support nonetheless. Now, this is a no-brainer. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is getting a Switch 2 edition with mouse controls, which is awesome for first-person shooters. Quality and performance increases. So it will feature mouse controls. It'll support 4K 60 frames per second HDR and performance, etc. So the 120, the 180p display will be, they're claiming, 120 frames per second. So,
Yeah, so
that's true.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, so for sure, obviously, like, I will definitely. That's the one that I would be playing for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
I would not get the Switch version.
no, but I am really curious, and I'm gonna throw this out there, guys, because I'm really, really curious about the mouse control stuff. Like Steven and I were talking a little bit about this. Ahmed and I were been talking about this, where it's like very cool. Okay, like let me get that out of the way. Very cool. The only perplexing thing is, Tim, you said your setup. So how many of our listeners out there have a setup like him, where you have your Switch connected to a PC monitor at a desk? Like this is the thing that, like, as cool as the idea is of having a mouse, I don't quite get the use case for it.
Exactly.
Because you've got a portable, so you're playing portably, or you have your sofa. So I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like, it is awesome.
It's great for controls. Options. It's great.
Like for me, when I get the second deck and I connect it in, I'll have my monitor, right? So like, yeah, no problem, right? Doop, there you go. I've got access. But I'm just really, really curious to see how many people actually end up using this because of the fact that it's a console. So I'm curious.
And now to let you know, a lot of PlayStation, Xbox, I think it has, PlayStation players, first-person shooters have always asked for mouse control. So there's hardcore shooter fans will definitely utilize it. But Metroid's not a hardcore shooting game, so I don't know how many people are going to take advantage of it. I would probably try it, though, just because I'm a keyboard and mouse guy. So we'll see. But I still don't think it's going to be I don't know. Maybe it'll be as good as a mouse. We'll see. Once I get the system, we'll know. Next up, the second Kirby's. A Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World brings a new story to Switch 2. It has a release date. So it includes a brand new story called Star-Crossed World. Dude,
we're going to be here forever. I think it's just easier. Yeah, just list off the ones that have been enhanced, because like none of this is new. This is all like, these are just enhanced versions of existing Switch 1 games that have different features, although I think that's not the last one.
Correct. And it's August 28th, by the way. We already talked about Jamboree, and it has mouse controls, camera controls. That's going to be, there's no release date. Anyways, and it's interesting, guys. Watch the video of the Jamboree. Those new mini games are doing. It looks very, very cool, but I don't see if you're going to be playing with your friends. Most of the people are going to play online random. Now, Pokemon Legends ZX will have a Switch 2 version with improved resolution and frame rate. I will not be buying the Switch version. Did they say it'll not be released until later this year? Well, there's been no release date given.
I don't think so.
Has it?
No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But oh my god, I can't even think. Scarlet and Violet were also on the list for free updates. So you know that's going to enhance the frame rate and stuff like that. So that's good. Like, I'm happy about that.
That is good, but the enhanced versions will be awesome. Jarrod and I will definitely, I'm pretty sure Steven, if he gets the Switch 2, will be getting that version. But remember, it's still not built the ground up natively for Switch 2, so we'll not have like Donkey Kong level Mario type stuff. But it'll still be much better. Next up, Switch 2 Welcome Tour will showcase the much. So the Nintendo Switch welcome. Oh, it's a welcome tour where they're going to do exclusive titles for Switch, etc. That's just a coming up thing. And then, this one now, Jarrod, I want to ask you, what do you think about this? Drag and Drive is an online 3 versus 3 game that puts the focus on Switch's choose mouse controls. So you're in a wheelchair, your character, and you have to move in certain ways, and you have to do it's like a basketball kind of game.
Yeah, it's basically
with wheelchairs.
What the hell is that soccer game? Rocket League. It's basically Rocket League.
Very similar to Rocket League
mixed with arms. That's pretty much what it is.
And it will be released this summer. I don't know if I'm going to.
No, for me, no way, because not with the fact that you have to use the mice again. Where am I supposed to do that? What,
exactly. It's going to be kind of tedious. Yeah. Anyways, it'll be interesting to see how that does. Though I love new titles, new IPs, and new ideas. So it looks more like a tech demo, but who knows? It might be a lot of fun. But Rocket League's a very popular game, so if we could get anywhere near that. Now, this is going to be awesome because you do the game. Nintendo GameCube's back, and you can get an actual controller for it.
Mm-hmm.
Games are exclusively going to be on Switch 2 via Nintendo Switch Online. And let's see. The ones that they have are Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. F-Zero GX is by far one of the best F-Zero games by Sega, and it's been, I think, the last F-Zero we've gotten. Soul Calibur 2, wow.
Yeah, that was good. I was happy about that.
That was an awesome game, dude. But, I mean, it was an awesome game back in the day. I don't know about today. It's obviously dated. But F-Zero, if they add online fee, was the F-Zero online? I can't remember. It was back in the day. I don't know if you remember, but anyways, so you guys look forward to that. Tons of GameCube games will hopefully come on it. I want the Tetrasphere game would be awesome and some other stuff. All right, so let's go switch to get third-party games from Software's. It is Dusk Bloods, Elden Ring, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and more. So Elden Ring's, come on, it's a port, but hey, it's a huge game, popular, so it's going to be cool. Check out the video. It is the Dusk Bloods is a new player versus environment. Yeah. Sorry, player versus environment multiplayer action game, which gives Bloodborne vibes. You know, it's extreme. It's a very gothic world. Appears to be having a vampire. Anyways, it looks pretty cool. You know, I love multiplayer, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that one really looks like that was very interesting.
Yeah,
to be really honest, that's of the whole direct, that's probably the biggest news that they had of that, because it's one of the, what is it, the Soulsborne or Born Souls or whatever it is. Like, it's one of those games, and the fact that it's 100% exclusive to the Switch 2, that's,
for now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, me too. But still, like, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it looks like good. I love multiplayer, and I love Hunt Showdown. I haven't played as much as I'd like, but that's a player versus environment game. It's on Game Pass, by the way, Jared. No excuse for you not to try it with me. Anyways, Elden Ring is getting its own tarnished edition on the Switch 2 in 2025. We don't have to talk about that. Everyone knows that game. Hyrule Warriors, The Age of Imprisonment is coming. It serves as a prequel to The Legend of Zelda's Tears of the Kingdom. Interesting.
Yeah, that looks good too. That looks really good.
Yeah, it looks good. And it's a popular series. We don't have to too much stuff. Now look at what we're getting. Deltarune's newest chapters will launch with the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. So that's going to be interesting. And this is a real popular series, by the way. It's old retro, kind of 8-bit, well, better than 8, a little bit better than 8-bit grab, but very old school, very popular. I think Steven likes it, right? If I remember right. It's going to have chapters 3 and 4 will launch alongside the first 2 when Nintendo Switch releases.
Yeah,
yeah,
that looks good.
Yep, let's continue because we have a lot to talk about. Hades 2 will be released in 2025 before other consoles, mind you. Mm-hmm. So Nintendo's got a little bit of an exclusive, not true, but enough. Now, this is here we go. These games are top dog, guys. Make no mistake, they are ports. We're getting Final Fantasy remake integrated. Cyberpunk 2077, which is a comeback king type story. Ultimate Edition, by the way. Street Fighter 6, Project 007, Split Fiction, and more. So, yeah, a lot. And we have a long list. Let's just, oh my God. Do you want to cover that list real quick?
Dude,
my voice is dying.
Well, send me the link then, dude.
Here, let me do this real quick because my voice is dying here. I don't know if you guys could tell. Let me do this. All right. So you'll see towards, just scroll down you see the Elden Ring stuff in the Delta Ruins down Hyrule. You'll see the list of all that was announced. There's a lot of games.
All right,
Jared
let's
can
go.
do that.
Let's go. Yeah, it's because you're reading everything, man. Why are you reading everything?
Well,
and you even skipped the Welcome Tour game that they announced.
But hey, we're covering news. We have to cover everything, right?
Okay, Elden Ring, Hyrule Warriors, Deltarune.
Yes, keep on a little bit more, then you'll see
You mentioned Final Fantasy and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then right after that, you'll see the EA Sports Madden in that long list.
Yeah, so okay guys, so EA Sports, they gave their stuff, WBA 2K, WWE 2K, Split Fiction, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Street Fighter 6, you've got Civilization 7, which again, that's because of the mouse stuff.
Yep.
Hogwarts Legacy, Bravely Default, Flying Fairy, it's basically a remake, not a remake, a remaster of the original, yeah. Then you
look at this game,
Borderlands 4, which is good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 3 and 4. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Fortnite. Enter the Gungeon 2. The Hitman game. Then they announced a new 007 game, but they didn't show anything. There was just like the inside of a gun type thing. Star Seeker, Astroneer, Expeditions, Daemon, Ex Mechana, Titanic, Scion, Survival Kid, Star Wars Outlaws, Silk Song, what the hell is that? Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, and Reanimal. So guys, there's billions of games. That's the thing.
And they're very good, by the way. Like Civ 7's excellent. All these games on this list are pretty much good. Fortnite's Fortnite, but yeah, really good to see. And that is pretty much all they had. And then plus they got videos and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you're talking. You told me that your voice, and now he's nonstop talking.
Oh, no problem. So I was going to say there's going to be more partnership directs coming up too. So
yeah, of course, guys. It's a brand new system. So one thing, like for me, whenever like companies announce games that like have already been out or ports or stuff like that, it's not for games that I've already played or that I wanted to play. I already played them. But the one
you're
thing,
not going to redo it, though.
No, I'm not going to redo it. But the one thing that I will say, and it's important to note this because we kind of tend to forget a lot of times, is that the portability. The fact is that you get to experience these games on the go. Now, thanks to the Steam Deck and the Rogue Ally and all of these things, some of these like titles are already available like on the go. But it is interesting, it's very interesting to be able to have these games at this level of quality on the go. Like that's pretty cool. Like, and that's literally like the whole appeal, like Elden Ring and all of that, right? Like it's cool. So overall, this is how we'll end this section before we start, because we do have like one big thing in the news to talk about. I was just curious, what are your overall thoughts?
Overall, I love the first party trailer of the Donkey Kong and Mario Kart World. I love to see that they're actually stepping out of the norm, because most Mario Karts are just item differences and carts and races, so they're actually doing something a little bit different. I am kind of interested to see if the multiplayer is going to be where you go from one, if they're going to have, I don't know how it's going to be, or if you go to one these large maps, how long the matches are going to go. Online tends to be fast paced, so I'm pretty sure it won't be concerning. But yeah, a lot of changes. The Donkey Kong looks premier. I really was impressed by that. The Kirby's, it's just Kirby. Yeah, but I am kind of disappointed though. There really wasn't anything very new announced by third parties. There's just a bunch of ports. I mean, there was that one, the Duskblood, but other than that, there's not that many Nintendo first party or second party announcements. I mean, we already knew about Metroid, Mario Party Jamboree. So
yeah,
overall, I was disappointed. There wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
but
so
what
dude,
we saw was good.
That's kind of, it's funny because like I watched it with Ahmed and yeah, it was like I was really. What was there, what was shown was good, was fine, was, like I was like, okay, cool, I'm excited for like this new platform. But I was surprised at just the sheer, like it was quiet. And I know why, because they don't have to, right? When they came out of the Wii U, they had no choice, right? So they showed everything, right? Like from, like the Zelda was the launch, but they had Mario, they had all this other stuff like that they were showing and teasing and this and that and everything else. Whereas this time they don't have to do that, so they're not doing it. But no, I mean, I think it was fine. I definitely, it's not like my favorite one that they've ever done, but it wasn't bad. But now,
yeah, we got to talk about news.
This was really interesting. So guys, literally 24, 48 hours after Nintendo announced not only the Switch 2, like formally, like here it is what it does, and games and all of this sort of stuff. They said it would on April 9th, I think it was, that pre-orders would open worldwide. You may or may not know that in the United States, a whole bunch of tariffs were just announced on basically every country in the world. And literally, like the next day following that announcement, Nintendo had to retract. They had to actually issue a statement to retract the pre-orders in the United States. They're still going to go forward in every other country, including Canada, so I was really happy about that. But the US is kind of in a holding pattern right now because they don't know if they're going to have to do any pricing adjustments based on the tariffs. Because if you don't know this, China was getting slammed by tariffs for quite some time. And so Nintendo decided to pivot the manufacturing of the console to Vietnam, so that they wouldn't have to worry about essentially a sales tax when they would be bringing this to the US. But I believe it's 46% is what Vietnam was just hit with. That's not chump change. Now, if you read, like into the press and stuff, they're like, oh, they're negotiating and they're talking. Guys, we're not here to speculate. We don't want to get into the whole, all the politics and this and that. The facts are the facts. So the facts are right now, the only news we have is that Nintendo has officially paused the pre-orders in the US. All of us have our fingers crossed that, that this is not going to, that there will be some kind of a solution. But if the tariff stuff continues or gets worse, I feel for you guys. Like I really truly feel for you guys, because I as a guy that owns a business, like it's not the company's fault, this sort of stuff. No. So you guys just need to understand that it's entirely possible Nintendo has no choice but to come back and be like, look guys, like I'm sorry, but physical games, Mario Kart's now $100. Digital, it's still 60 or 70 or digital's $10 cheaper. That's the way they're doing
which
it.
Finally, I told you that years ago.
I know.
Digital the same price as physical. It makes no sense. They say they cut out a lot of stuff. Anyways, good to see. Yeah. So again, guys, nothing's official on the prices. Well, technically they are, but they haven't been adjusted yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully things will stay the same and we could get our systems. It's 2 months from this exact recording. Yeah. I cannot wait. I never got the Switch 1 on launch. I will plan on getting Switch 2. Watch it. We're going to take months. We're not getting the last one. That's
the fear, guys. Like I said, like as someone that owns a business, like I can tell you that, it's not insignificant. Like 46%. No, that's significant.
Yeah, they're not going to take the vote.
No, absolutely not. And if a back and forth occurs, I wouldn't release my product, because what ends up happening is you end up confusing the hell out of your consumers, because it would be like, this week it's, whatever, $500. The next week it's $600. The week after that it's $1,000. And like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And honestly, I feel a little bad for Nintendo too, because they didn't ask for this as a company. No, now, granted, I do think they're being very greedy with the price. Like the game prices are insane. Personally, I don't know why everyone online is freaking out over the $450 console. That to me, that's I don't know. I don't get it.
Didn't I show you? I put on Discord, I think. I showed you the pricing of the Nintendo consoles over the years. The NES was expensive.
Of course it was.
In comparison to today. There was one part, it was over $500 for I think there was two of them, the 300 something and then the 500. I forgot what the 500 was. It was just a kid, but it must have been a bundle. But their systems haven't really gone up huge in price. But people, they forget. I forgot that NES games were very expensive.
Oh, NES.
I forgot that. Yes. Yeah, I forgot about a lot of that stuff.
The thing is, like, I mean, I say that too, right? Like, I still have my Super Mario 3 cartridge from Zellers, and it's got $99.99 on it. But
Oh wow, that's retro right there, man.
But it's you know, things have changed, right? The industry has changed. We've normalized different things. The pricing is a little much. Like, I won't lie. Like, the pricing is a little much, especially for, you know, where the economy is right now and stuff. That I think they're gonna have to watch. Not the console though. Console, honestly,
console.
I'm okay with the console. I'm not okay with the games though, because
well, luckily though, guys, it's only going to be certain titles are going to be $80. Not everyone, so that's good. Not all Nintendo's stuff's going to be $80.
Yeah,
but it's funny that Steven has always told me, because I always used to bitch with Steven, say, "Ah, man, how dare they charge it?" He's like, "Well, the consumer is the one who decides what the price is, right?"
Yeah, of course.
So basically, what it means is if people are buying, like Mario Kart 8, to this day is still one of the top sellers, if not the top seller for the Switch, at full price, it means the market accepts that price. So Nintendo's executive, I forgot who said something like that the consumer will set the price, meaning if they're willing to pay for it, it's going to be $80. Right? Obviously, it's a bundle. So how are we going to get true numbers of how well Mario Kart sells if it's a bundle? But besides that, other news, I think we're done with the tariffs. Mario Kart Switch 2 Mario Kart bundle will be a limited time offer. There's no info throughout. It just says limited production throughout the fall of 2025.
Yeah,
at least in the US. All right,
while supplies last.
It will not be past this year. So it's a great deal. You save like $30 on the game.
Yeah, great deal.
So
here you save like $100.
Well, that's a lot. I put on Nintendo.com. I put my little checklist for the bundle. That there'd be no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and get it through like Best Buy or something, because the thing is, when you go through Nintendo, they already warn you on the website, like, you won't get it on launch.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
You know,
I'm not gonna take a day off anyways.
No, I'm not gonna do that either.
Not like the old days.
No, well, so we're old.
Plus we have jobs and careers now. It's not the same, right? Next little bit of news, I think we're going to wrap it up, is confirmed Switch 2 cases will no longer feature the red spines and instead will look like the box art wraps around. So a little minor thing. I don't know how many people still get physical. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you. So that's kind of cool. No more spine.
Yeah, speaking of the games, and like, this is truly it, then we'll just say our goodbyes. But there's been a little bit of a controversy over that too, that you're gonna have game cards, right, just like they were before, but I forget what it's like, game code cards or game card codes or something like that, where you get a piece of plastic. I don't even understand this, okay? To be honest, I do not understand this. So you get a piece of plastic, but you have a download code to download it. There's actually nothing on it at all. So I don't even understand why that exists.
Yeah, that's weird. By the way, the bundle for Mario Kart is a download only. You don't actually get.
I don't
include that, but you're download only.
I don't care.
Yeah, you guys, that's the future. I know there's the purists out there that still want physical, but that it's a dying media. It's going to be gone, if not virtually almost gone. I would love to see how many. I wish they would release how many physical of their games are sold physical opposed to digital. I'm pretty sure that it is over 90% easily, or maybe higher, are digital rather than down. I don't know why people like physical. I guess because they feel they own it. But honestly, once you put a game, you put it away in its case and it goes into storage, right? So it just takes up space. So anyways, that's it. Pretty much it, guys.
Yeah, that's it. I think next week's is going to be really interesting. We'll find out how lucky I am, and we'll find out how lucky you are with regards to, like, hopefully we have some news, but with these things, guys, who knows? So next week we'll update you, and there you go.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy.